Yo, what's up guys? This game is exciting because we have one of the best orc players in the world, FoCuS, against Egg, aka TH000. Let me tell you a little bit about both players. For me, FoCuS is the player that best shows you what the current meta is. He's not going to play 5 different strategies in a given matchup, but he will always play what he thinks is best. He's essentially a slightly weaker version of Happy, but for Orc. And I do think Happy is more of a complete player by now, but they used to be more comparable. Happy learned a lot from playing StarCraft. He got more versatility after his stint in StarCraft. FoCuS is still more focused on doing his one build all the time, but he excels in meta understanding, timings, micromanagement, and playing the good meta. So anytime you see him doing something, it's that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He last hit the rock golem level 6 with a single hit, even as his wolves are harassing the peasants. FoCuS is also one of the most hard-working pro players. He's been actively competing at least since 2005, and he's never really stopped. As far as I know, I didn't see him in Age of Empires 4. I did see Infi in Age of Empires 4 when I was playing it like a year ago. I haven't seen him in StarCraft. I did see Moon playing StarCraft 2 when I was playing it 12 years ago, and that sounds way too long ago. So even some of the most famous StarCraft 2 Korean pro players, I should say Warcraft 3, even some of the most famous Warcraft 3 Korean pro players have tried out StarCraft, even if later they've come back. But for FoCuS, I've never seen it. He's one of the most steady guys that I know that plays Warcraft 3. Now let's talk about the other guy I want to talk about, TH000. TH000, I often think of him as my toughest opponent ever. I haven't played him as much as some of the others, like Moon, Sky, and Lin. And I haven't lost to him as much as the others, because I haven't played to him as much. But he's the guy that, among all the players in the world, he's like the one guy that I almost never beat. And we probably met like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Maybe I took like one map in a best of ones. But I pretty much always lost to him. And the reason he was so difficult for me, there's a few conditions. First of all, I never got to play him in Europe and NA. I only played him in China. And I perform generally a little bit worse when playing in China than when playing in Europe or NA. More adaptation, I suppose, to the situation. But more importantly than that, what I really liked about TH is insanely good micro. Before anyone else ever did race switching, like Infi playing random, or Hitman switching to Night Elf recently, or Starbuck doing a full random tournament play for like a year already. There was TH, who was really good with every race, sometimes used that in games, like when he would meet his countrymate Sky, he would play Undead or Elf. And his amazing micro and understanding of the game mechanics allowed him to perform well with every race. He's also smart. He was also very good with early game creeper outs. So he got level 3 Archmage faster than anyone else. And he was ruthlessly aggressive. More than that, there are players that are similar with those skill sets that I just mentioned, but everyone is held back by their own demons. So what do I mean when I say that? I have playstyles that I don't like, and therefore do them less frequently, or I do them less well. Then there's other people that feel that way about other strats. So for instance, when I would hit and run people with raiders back in the day, this was known as Grubby style.
Grubby detected.
Thank you very much. This was known as Grubby style, raider hit and run. And there were some players that hated playing against that. And they would basically play worse against it because they hated it. Which made me want to do it even more against them. Right? Having any preference for playstyle is a weakness. It's not something you should ever be proud of. But sometimes it affects you despite yourself, despite your best intentions for that to be the case. So what I generally didn't like playing against is people that I know are going to do the same thing every time, but I lose to it anyway. Why didn't I like it? Because it would underscore some kind of inadequacy in me. I am not failing on the scouting. I'm not failing on preparation. I'm not failing on knowing what they're going to do. I know my opponent, but I'm not good enough to beat them. That's very frustrating because it directly attacks my ego, right? And what I feel like some humans had as a problem, there were some humans that had qualms at tower rushing. So they could do all parts of the game really well, but they didn't want to finish an orc player off with a tower rush. Because they feel like that's a lame strat, a cheesy strat, less skillful. Well, you can bet your ass that TH never qualmed. He was never squeamish about doing that. He had all the skill to play a long game, but he also knew the tower rushes, especially in the year 2006, 7, 8, were very strong. So he did them a lot. So anyway, I had a pretty bad record against TH, who is called Egg here. And he was an active pro player probably from about 2006 until 2010. And then pretty much he did retire, and he never really came back when Reforged happened, because by then TH was already a full-time streamer. So something that I learned from speaking with Sky recently. Sky is the most famous Chinese Warcraft 3 player, one of the most successful Chinese Warcraft 3 players, and definitely put Warcraft on the map for China. I think he contributed insanely much, not just to Warcraft 3's popularity in China, but worldwide. I think he did a lot for the sport, if you will. So Sky recently visited us, visited my home. And when talking to him, I realized many of the old pros are now also full-time streamers. But they also still, they still try to play competitively. Sometimes they join tournaments. But for TH, that pretty much wasn't the case. He did stream, but it was pretty much just grinding pubs and grinding ladder. Until recently. Recently, he's been signing up for tournaments again and participating in matches that previously we wouldn't see him. So the question is, what gives? Why? And I think part of the reason what's got to do with it, with him doing that again, is the upcoming Stars War anniversary event. In 2003, a Chinese event was created called Star Wars. Well, you can see how that could be a copyright issue. So they renamed it after the first year to Stars War, which is always it feels a bit like a misnomer. If you tell anyone Stars War, they're going to think you both said it wrong and you're talking about something else. But anyway, that's what it was called. And the concept was, the game is Warcraft, so there's the word war. And stars, well, that's us, right? The players, we're the stars, so Stars War. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's not the planets out there in another universe, in another solar system, but it's a battle between stars. Anyway, name's already taken, right? Awkward. But anyway, that was the name. And Stars War was one of the coolest tournaments there was. Its creator, Zax, was a visionary that felt that our experience in China should be more than just playing a game of Warcraft 3. He reminds me of those teachers in school that see your time in school as more just a grind fest for grades. Those people that believe, those teachers that believe that there should be a, more extracurricular activity that can enlarge your experiences. So, visiting places for cultural expeditions, work experience segments, whatever, those kind of things. And what he did basically is all the players that came to China, to Xi'an, he would take us to see the terracotta army, which ancient Chinese pharaohs, they would bury tens of thousands of statues that look like soldiers with them, with the idea that in the afterlife that army would protect them. That terracotta army is a world famous cultural heritage thing, and he took us to see that. We climbed, not Chinese pharaohs, you know what I'm talking about. He would take us to climb a mountain and see Buddhist temple, and so that was really, really beautiful, and it's one of the greatest memories. So soon there's going to be an anniversary event. I believe it's 26 August. And I'm not going to be able to make it out there in China, but I'll probably phone in and play some online show matches with some of the other guys, because I think it's an important event for Warcraft 3. So I'm just probably going to be playing like a show match or something, and do some fun activities together. But for those that are live present, they're going to play like a tournament. And I think TH is probably going to play that as well, which probably explains why he's playing again. So it's fun to see him play here. He's a very creative player. He definitely played a little bit off the beaten path in this game. I mean, he did like kind of a delayed expansion. And now he's doing Rifle Priest. Most people don't play human like this anymore. Early expansion, super early, that pretty much happens. We see one base rifle play. We don't usually see 2 base into rifles. You see, after someone does a fast expansion as human against orc, they try to throw mercs and footies to cancel the counter expansion, which TH was not able to succeed in during this game. Then they typically go for griffins. Sometimes you'll see Knight Mortar as well, but griffins is a great way to circumvent the power that Tauren Chieftain and Farseer have on the ground. War Stomp, Lightning Shield, you know, all the melee attacks that the Orc army has. Griffins does well against that. But here we are with a ground army with units that have an average health of about 500. Priests have 390, rifles have like 535, breakers have 600 or 600 plus, maybe 550, maybe 600. Anyway, breakers are magic immune. So among the biological units that are not magic immune, the average health is something like 535, 390, 470. So you take a War Stomp that does 30, 60, 90 damage. You take Lightning Shield that does 20 damage per second, I believe. Chain Lightning that does like 180 damage and then bounces down. You've got a lot of splash damage going around on a pretty fragile army. And even now, FoCuS is working on making his Tauren Chieftain the most dangerous possible cow it can be. How now, brown cow? He sells 1 greater healing potion, buys double heal scroll, and he gets in position for a fight he knows is going to happen. There is a sentry ward here. He sees the Mountain King coming. Mountain King comes in with the clap. That's Thunderclap, level 2. He's going to try to get as many claps on the Orc army as possible. The goal here for TH is to do damage. It's not necessarily to kill. He's much more interested in not dying than killing, which is the same thing that I focus on in real life as well. And the reason is, any damage dealt to the Orcish army is quote-unquote real damage. You see, there is no Witch Doctor with heal wards. There are no Shadow Hunters with healing waves. And there is no healing fountain. I consider these 3 sources of healing free. It's not really free. Heal wave isn't free. But the higher level your Shadow gets, the more you can drink Clarity and have much more cost-efficient healing. Healing Salve costs money, Heal Scroll costs money. It has a kind of a finite application. Of course, Heal Scroll goes up in value the more units are hurt and are nearby. But if you really want to get healthy, Heal Ward is the best, Heal Fountain is the best, Shadow is the next best. So without a very good source of healing, if TH can contrive to have multiple fights where he thunderclaps, and eventually I do believe he'll reskill to Blizzard as well. He thunderclaps 1, 2, 3 times and then TP's out. He can soften up the Orc army. He can weaken FoCuS's money economy by forcing him to spend a lot of money on heal salves. And you can see that even now, FoCuS's army is hurt. His raiders are dropping low. That raider has 57 health. Even a heal salve wouldn't take it to full. So he's gonna get his double heal salve, that's 200 gold. Meanwhile, TH is getting free healing from priests. Gotta be a little bit critical though. I see TH is creeping together with his Archmage. I find the most scary human moments are where they creep entirely with Mountain King. But it looks like... Where is his Mountain King? Is he? Okay, he is keeping it together. Keeping it together, Bree. Yeah, so he's keeping them together. I guess he's really interested in Archmage level 3. I don't know if that's going to be for Blizzard, or if he would even go level 3 Brilliance. Something we've been seeing is that even at Archmage level 3 or 5, we sometimes see Brilliance prioritized over Water Elegigal. Seeing as how Elegigals are going to be removed anyway by shamans with Purge. That's a monster War Stomp using the potion of invisibility to get right in between. There's a lightning shield. He gets storm bolted right at the War Stomp moment, and one sorceress dodges the stomp because of it. That's not good enough. There's a lot of damage here going on the human units. He does get a dispel on the lightning shield. That was TH getting caught with his pants down, metaphorically speaking. He got a lot of damage done on the TC. And, FoCuS is having a bit of a unfocused assault here. Getting two of his units eagerly running into battle. Kind of a lackluster thunderclap there. There was a little bit more potential in there. He only got 2 units. But the positioning here is good. Almost perfect. If one breaker stepped to the left, he could have blocked out the TC from reaching perfect penetration into the human army. There's another thunderclap. Archmage's TPing out. He's gonna try to kill the TC! And he gets him! Right at the 11th hour! As he TPs out. Meanwhile, a defend footy, virtually invincible against the burrow. Blizzard did a great favor to quality of life back in 2003 when they made the engine for Warcraft. That a defend footy, or indeed any unit, including summons, grunts, and this is true in Warcraft and in StarCraft 2, that a unit that stands in a mining worker line, that is next to a watchtower or a burrow, when you put them on attack move, it prioritizes the workers. Do you realize how much of a quality of life improvement that is? You would think normally units attack their own direct threat. So you would think that the defend footy would be attacking the burrow before anything else. And you can still solve that by hold positioning it inside the worker line. And then it will still get good hits. And that's probably what he does too, to be fair. But it allows you to send wolves to worker lines. And the workers will be killed without you needing to do hold position. They'll chase the workers wherever they are. Even if there's an arcane and a guard tower there. So that's nice coding. It's the little things that make you think, man, game developer with real acumen for the work that they do. It's nice to see, you know? And we have good examples of that, like in Baldur's Gate 3, which if you want to follow my playthrough of that is on my other YouTube channel, @GrubbyPlays. But it's nice to see that Blizzard was like that too with Warcraft. There's so many good small little decisions they made with the game that just make it a work of art. And that's part of it. So FoCuS is doing a great job of doing many fights. If you want to play human well, this is how to do it. Maximum thunderclapping. And in fact, I would say it's a mistake for him to be here and to do this attack. The best thing for him to do would be to sell those gloves. Sell the gloves, sell Crystal Ball on the Archmage, and make sure he never leaves his base without Town Portal. Now there's an opportunity for FoCuS to circumvent the strength of the army a bit, because his army is much weaker. He's got 25 population less, 23, right? Now there's a chance for him to maybe focus hero. And there is no Town Portal. And there is a pretty nice surround, but it looks better than it is. Those raiders do not deal a lot of damage to the riflemen, as you can see, when they're slowed and thunderclapped. And there's no invul on the TC. I think TH is actually going to be able to do it. And this is quite spectacular, because TH has not been an active player for very long recently. Of course, he has been grinding quite a bit, and his potential is amazing. But to take down FoCuS, who is a master of the meta, is very, very impressive. Great fight-taking, decision making, some nice invisibility plays, sending the footman to the worker line. Always made sure he had a TP and an invul to get out. And in fact, I even want to applaud him on being able to take this fight, because I'm saying like, hey, you don't have a TP. He showed he had the game understanding to not need it. He scrambled that egg so well. Very, very good job. TH, he's back, guys. I'm looking forward to see what happens at Stars War. Hope you enjoyed this cast. Let me know if you have any feedback in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Sub to the grub. Thank you.